Hey everyone, welcome to section 2.3 on solving a formula for a specific variable. So we're going to look at a lot of geometry type applications of algebra that we've been doing, and we're going to start off here with this cone. So what we have is the volume of a cone, which is equal to 1/3 pi r squared h, where r is the radius, shown there in green, and h is the height of the cone. And I end up with 3v equals pi r squared h. Now, notice we only have one term in this equation. It's pi r squared times h. If we want to get h by itself, we have to divide out the coefficient. The coefficient, in this case, is this pi r squared bit. So what we're going to do is divide by that. And there we have h in terms of the variables v for volume and r for radius. So it's not too bad. All right, let's look at another example. This here is the conversion formula for going between degrees Celsius and degrees Fahrenheit. If you have the degrees Fahrenheit and you want to figure out what the degrees Celsius are, you plug in the degrees that you have for F. Now, if you find it's hard to keep track of what the degrees mean in each of these temperature systems, here's some perspective. Over on the left here we have F and C for degrees Fahrenheit and degrees Celsius, 0 degrees Fahrenheit and Celsius, at 0 degrees Fahrenheit or Celsius, we're going to be cold. We're going to be colder at 0 degrees Celsius, though, because that's the temperature at which water freezes, and Fahrenheit is negative 32 degrees. When we look at a comparison for 100 degrees, if it's 100 degrees Fahrenheit out, you're going to be hot. If it's 100 degrees Celsius out, you're going to be dead. So, all right, what we can do with this example is make the conversion formula go the other way. That is, if we solve for f, we can convert the other direction as well. Step 1 is going to be to clear the fractions. We can do that by choosing the appropriate denominator. And here we can simplify using the distributive property, which is some good practice. And we have 9c equals 5f minus 160. Add 160 to both sides. And lastly, we're going to divide out the coefficient. So here's our final answer. We could simplify that if we want to, but it's not really necessary. All right, let's look at another example. In this formula, we want to solve for b. A equals 1/2 BH, which is, of course, the area of a triangle. So to solve for A, we want to get rid of the fractions. To do that, I can multiply both sides by 2. So we'd have 2A equals BH. Then we have to divide out the coefficient. Since we're solving for B, the coefficient that we have to divide by is going to be H. So at the end of the day, our final answer is 2A over H equals B. All right, so that's if I just straight up give you the formula, but we can take this approach and apply it for word problems. All right, so here we have another example involving the perimeter of a rectangle. After reading the problem, we're looking for the length and the width of a rectangle whose perimeter is 110 inches, and the length of the rectangle is 7 more than twice the width. So we're going to need to use the perimeter formula, which is the combined length of all of the sides of the rectangle. And we know that the length of this rectangle is 7 more than twice the width. So length is, remember is means equals, 7 more twice the width. Now what we can do is solve for W in the perimeter formula. When we take this expression for L that we have, 7 plus 2W, and replace L in the formula. We're also going to use our last piece of information, that the perimeter is 110 inches to start with. Distribute. Now to get W by itself, we have to subtract 14 from both sides. And then finally divide out the coefficients. And we get that 16 is equal to W. Now we're going to go back to our length expression. L equals 7 plus 2W. And figure out what L is now that we have W. All right, so L is apparently 39. And we can check our answer. And we get 110, just like we're supposed to. To summarize with a sentence, we would say that the length of the rectangle is 39 inches and the width is 16 inches. All right, and just to wrap up the video, I'm going to end with some formulas that you see in geometry, just as a bit of a refresher. So you might use some of them while doing your homework. And that's it for this video.